Many of you listening into your hopeful haven have a morning routine that enriches your life. I personally clean up, get on my cross trainers, and head out into the fresh air. My morning walks are spent speaking with God. Sometimes the best thing you can do is to walk and talk with your Savior. I crossed the road and walked over to a beautiful park with a nature trail that runs through it. Picture a scene with endless trees. Most of them reach high into a pristine blue sky. Everything is a shade of green and brown. The scents are earthy and natural. As I walked along, I noticed a tree that had stood next to a spot on the path for 30 years had fallen over onto that path some time ago, completely blocking the way ahead. It made me think, how could something so sturdy be uprooted in a single storm? Even more, I wondered why the park keepers had chosen to let the tree remain in that fallen state. They simply chose to start building a pathway around the fallen tree. I was curious about the whole scenario. I was immediately drawn to the story of Moses in the Bible. In Exodus 14, Moses guided his people through the wilderness towards the Promised Land, following the path directed by God. However, they encountered the obstacle of the Red Sea blocking their path, with the Egyptian army pursuing them. Their anticipation turned to apprehension. Questions swirled in their minds. Had they misunderstood God's plan? Were they destined to perish in the desert, trapped between the sea and their enemies? In that moment of uncertainty, the weight of despair pressed heavy upon them. It made me think, how many times have I felt blocked by a seemingly immovable obstacle? How many times have I felt chased down by negative circumstances and even enemies? For us today, we face the pain of joblessness, debt, and financial strain, global health pandemics, heartlessness in society, rampant confusion and discrimination. These days, it is so easy to lose your property, your friends, your purpose, and even your faith. We want you to know that God understands the way you feel. So as a human, feel it, but don't ever bottle it in. Lock your bedroom door and talk it out with the God who created you. Just do not leave it there. Always know that there is hope. Besides, what good will it do for your life if you resign yourself from the need to be at your best? I want to draw your imagination back to the fallen tree. What has happened here? The storm overcame the roots that anchored the tree for 30 years. And now, here it lies. I felt a sense of despondence, assuming that it would be cut down and used for firewood. But as I followed the new path laid by the park keepers, I saw something amazing. New shoots of growth were sprouting from the newly exposed roots. Even in its fallen state, this tree tells a story of resilience. It refused to succumb to the storm, continuing to grow, reaching for the sun. It made me think about life. One day rolls into another, and you keep growing if you remain focused on your growth, regardless of what has happened to you. Consider this Bible verse again from Deuteronomy chapter 31, verse 8. The Lord is the one who goes ahead of you. He will be with you. He will not desert you, nor will he abandon you. Do not be afraid. Do not be discouraged. Do you know why he never leaves you? Do you understand why he never abandons you? It's because you are the tree. And as long as you remain focused on your growth, he will open the ground for new purpose and carve new pathways for you. Just don't ever lose the will to grow, no matter what. In Exodus 14, we see that God parted the Red Sea for his people. Your hopeful haven wants to remind you that he will make a way for you. In your obedience and in your effort to fight back, you will find more strength, more courage, and more ideas. Please embrace this verse from Psalm chapter 91, verses 9 to 12. If you say, "The Lord is my refuge," and you make the Most High your dwelling, no harm will overtake you. No disaster will come near your tent. For he will command his angels concerning you to guard you in all your ways. They will lift you up in their hands, so that you will not strike your foot against a stone. Remember, he is your refuge, your fortress. Trust in him, and the tree that became uprooted will grow long after the storm has ceased. So arise, friend of Hopeful Haven. Keep going, fight the good fight, and finish your race, for he is with you always. Receive God's strength and inspiration for today. Subscribe and be strengthened through this message of transformation, change, and reliance on God for power and guidance through life's transitions. You are the clay, and His hands are all you need. Draw inspiration for your personal growth and renewal through faith. Subscribe and be strengthened by your hopeful haven.